regions are there first, but here on the LP. Forget it anyway. But hey, solo lanes are there. You now have yourself a Doomby Renekton mid, most likely, and Gwen going at Nuguri, which, look, his Gwen has fallen flat a couple of times. We're not going to sugarcoat this. There was, I can't remember the game deck, I'll find out in a second. Hasn't been too fantastic, but still, it is a powerful pick. It is something that can deal with a lot of these solo lanes and can snowball ahead in the game.
So I'm actually curious to see what way this kind of shakes out here for FPX, because as you said, you got the Renekton go top, mid, you also have this Gwen, you can go top or jungle as well. So you're still keeping a lot of that kind of open as to where you want to go. Now, with the Akali taking over for BLG, that could go towards Bilibili and Zika, so still got that flexibility there. But it feels like wherever this Renekton goes, it's going to be following that Akali, because you end up in this really good matchup where you can CC the Akali pretty effectively. You got that spin as well, which makes it pretty much negligible whether you're in the Shroud or not, and it makes it a little bit easier to try and trade onto this Akali.
Varus, so you mentioned before here for FPX, looking at the bottom lane. If this is picked up just so that BLG can't ban away ADs, considering that no AD's been picked up for either side, so it does mean the options are a little riskier to be taken away, considering that we will have the red side next pick. So FPX are like, nope, start banning away some of the AD carries that can work well with a comp that already creates nice space.
Yeah, and you can already see it, right? They're like, hey, look, you've got that Thresh. We need to worry about these late game scalers. Aphelios taken off the board. Potential here for FPX to ban something like the Jinx as well if they're super worried about this late game scaling. But I feel like Jinx needs more of a front line than Aphelios does in a lot of these situations, and you just don't have a front line for BLG right now, and it doesn't really fit into the style that we've seen from BLG just thus far either, to take a much more tank oriented top lane. So I think you're fine to leave that one open, maybe even look to ban some of these more nuanced picks for BLG in the top lane with the Aphelios taken off the board.
I'm just surprised though we've gotten all the way to this phase and we haven't seen a set ban or pick. I mean, still very powerful pick in the LPL. It has been first pick worthy. It has been first red side rotation worthy as well. BLG know that FPX have decent engage with the Nautilus, but also want something more. Let's see if it is a jungle ban.
I'm curious to see if FPX are going towards an Ezreal pick here, because the Aphelios, you know, gives them a free lane to scale up. The Kalista as well, you know, something that does pretty well into it. Especially since you've already seen the Varus taken off the board. They may just look towards the Ezreal. Now, it did get nerfed because of the Divine Sunder, so definitely a lot weaker, but always the opportunity to go for it and just try and put your attention elsewhere. As we said, we expect BLG, because they have been thus far playing through that top side of the map, to take something that just nullifies the bottom lane and help TN and Doomby play towards middle.
That's right, especially when it's so volatile. Renekton, Gwen, champions that can take over the game. So LWX on a bit of safety, and we're going to see if that bottom lane condition that FPX really fell to against Invictus Gaming becomes an issue in this first game. Because BLG now have the chance to build something strong, right? Aiming, we know the Jinx is there alongside the Thresh, but still in the 2v2 doesn't have the roughest time. Importantly, gives him the team fighting agency that we know Aiming is so good at.
I love that FPX have hidden their last pick though, because we still got that flexibility between Renekton and Gwen. And for someone like Bubu, he'd love to be able to take, you know, something like a Jace into this Gwen if he knew that that was going top lane and guaranteed that that Renekton was going towards Doombeat, but may not have the opportunity here. Now, it may still blind us and just go, right, I'm 90% certain that this is going to be a Gwen topside, but oh, could actually be in the solo lane Lee Sin. So it will be the solo lane Lee Sin, unless we're taking a book out of Fnatic Adams, or a page out of Fnatic Adams' book, but I'm not so certain about this lane Lee Sin. We'll have to see how it plays out again. The E-Max used to be the go-to for this lane Lee Sin, but because of the nerfs, you just don't really have as much control by just spamming that over and over again in lane.
If this gets locked in, then I wonder if it is just a Gwen jungle. I mean, that should be Doombeat, and then Nuguri goes top with the Renekton. Let's hold, because again, Set can still go top, and Nuguri wants to be the gym junkie. I want to come back with something, Dagda, and just say that how dare you say Fnatic Adam when it was actually Direwolf's chippies from OCE that used to spam at top. So don't ever disrespect OCE again. We hug our koalas.
OCE doesn't even exist anymore. How dare you know?
Hey, LCO, all right? How dare you? I'm not sure if it's played tonight. Doesn't matter. But if there's any Australians in the chat, you know, go DM Dagda something angrily. That's fine. I'll give you full permission. But going into this one, FPX and BLG in Shanghai, a bit of a heads up for you. This time
you need
around,
to go to Bunnings, get yourself a snag, and chill out, or snark, or whatever the hell it's called, and just chill out, all right?
No. You saw that video, you saw the Bunnings video, and you wanted a Bunnings snag. Everyone wants a bloody Bunnings snag. It's a Saturday, you've just finished work, and you think, what better than going to Bunnings, getting a snag, sitting outside and looking at hardware, or going inside and looking at hardware. I mean, honestly, it's just good to be alive sometimes when you're not in lockdown. So I miss Bunnings. God, bloody hell. All right, Dagda, I'll bring it back to the game, because for the 90% of the audience that isn't Australian, or maybe 95%, we got FPX and BLG, and this should be a doozy, because we have Doombeat Renekton mid, Nuguri holds onto the set, and Tien Gwen jungle. More interestingly, Bubu on the solo lane Lee Sin. We got to see if it works out, because even with the E-Max now, 40 less damage at level 9 when you max Tempest Cripple. It is significant, but how is Bubu going to feel it?
I mean, already, this was not a very good matchup for the Lee Sin. So the fact that Nuguri has the favorable matchup and you're working with a nerfed Lee Sin just makes me feel like this top half of the map is pretty much all FPX, right? And that's what you want here is Tien. Tien's worst worry right now is running into Weiwei and Weiwei chasing him down with those axes. If you're able to actually avoid that as Tien, you're in good shape. You can see he's gone for the Ghost in this matchup as well, just to get more legs underneath them to start legging that away. But I think here, FPX, you're pretty happy, right? You can continue to pressure top side. You've got LWX who's going to be scaling, or at least into that mid-game point where he's happy to come online with the 2 items. And for BLG, we already kind of touched on, like, aiming. I don't know how good of a game he's going to have, simply because the composition doesn't allow it. He doesn't have a particularly strong front line. When you're trying to go and get, like, a bit of peel, well, you got to deal with a Renekton, a Set, a Gwen, hell, even Crisp just pressing ore on you, like, it is so difficult to try and survive this without really anyone there who's going to be able to tank it up. Bubu's going to be trying to threaten backline. So Weiwei is not going to be particularly tanky either, or at least been able to provide as much peel as he needs. So I think from BLG's comp, it just feels like it's doing a lot of different things and not quite all synergizing on the same page.
And I like that you compared it straight away to FPX's composition, because sure, if it had a specific goal in mind, if there was a different comp from FPX, maybe it seems more relevant. I think you bring up great points in terms of the dive that can access aiming in the backline, and who's going to save it? It's PP God on a Thresh that has limited survivability himself. And then you Renekton, Set, even Gwen, Nautilus on top. There's so much follow through. It's going to be a dangerous game for aiming, which is why I think through the laning phase, we're going to have to talk a little bit about BLG's bot. We mentioned that FPX have really been dropping the ball down in this lane, but for BLG, aiming and PP God, you wanted to see Weiwei pay attention, and Olaf does great in these longer side lanes where he can hide into brush and look for cheeky undertows to set himself up. So let's see if Weiwei's able to get the ball rolling. when the lane is at a more neutral state, as right now, it's pushing in BLG's favor.
And it feels like the best way for BLG to try and play this is to, look for these early dragons, because you've got the push from aiming in that bot side. And then when FPX are trying to contest later on, try and see if you can find a couple of picks with Zika, with Bubu, with PP God being able to get that hook. But already we can see, we talked about this top lane going well for FPX. They're going to go look for the dive.
But Nuguri's so low. He's just going to hit turret for now, wait for the base breaker, taking up by Tien, but under the turret doesn't matter. Bubu's going to get a double kill. I said Nuguri was low. Why did they do that? Doomby's now here, slice and dice, flash on in. Bubu just has to hit him. Sonic Wave, heals up. No! FPX, what the hell were you thinking?
That was so bad. Why?
And LWX just got a double
takes
kill.
Takes a sip of the coffee. Yeah, I mean, look, if Nuguri goes for this as well, I'm out of here. But
what?
Look, I mean, what was you called it a stairs, right? Nuguri was too low, wasn't going to be able to tank it up. He takes a terror shot and he's instantly got to blow his haymaker. You get Tien to tank it, but Tien is ghost. Tien isn't able to just flash out of terror range, and it's also got that ramp up period, so he's not able to get out. And Bubu, he's now got 3 kills. He's got an Iron Spike whip to a longsword. Forget about the fact that Nuguri had control of this lane. It's doomed. Like, 2 shots from that tower, Nuguri's dead. So he's not able to tank it up. You've got Ghost there as well. And to give Bubu his credit, Bubu played that so well. Flashing away, getting the Sonic Wave on towards the backline as well. And then Doomby, he's too late to the party. He's already got I think he had Conqueror, I'm not entirely sure, fully stacked there as well. So he's getting some amount of healing off us. I just can't quite kill him. And then bot side here, aiming, BP God, hooked underneath the tower. Crisp manages to flash away, but it's still the kill coming through for LWX.
And then how does I'm just surprised actually, because remember we said, oh, Crisp and LWX been playing so bad. And then LWX and Crisp come out clutch, and Top completely runs it down. Bubu's level 6. God Fist Lee Sin is going to have so much meaning as Tien comes out.
Tien,
I would just go for
this.
He
just murders you.
Even with Doomby coming up, you have to be careful. There's no mid pressure right now. Weiwei's not here, so it is dangerous, but Bubu's walking around because this is his map right now. Forget the CS, folks. Look at the kills and look at how the game started against FPX. It might not be a gold lead, but the Lee Sin is, you're never going to feel the nerfs at this point.
No, it doesn't matter. Like, we talked about his, his wave clear, a little bit weaker when he gets to level 9. Dude has an Iron Spike whip. It's 5 minutes into the game. Like, that doesn't matter anymore. There's your extra damage that he's been missing off that Tempest, so it doesn't make any ounce of difference. And as well, already said for BLG, whatever about aiming and PP God messing up that bot lane play, giving over the 2 kills, just from a sheer range advantage and the rockets, you still have pushing that bot lane. So Weiwei, he's able to get control over this dragon. Also, because Doomby had roamed up to try and help that play, Zika actually has some priority in this mid lane as well to help out on that dragon play.
What a disaster, though, starting off. I just want to come back because you already set up the conditions. Here we go, though. Into Nuguri. It is still a set. He has flash, but if Bubu hits Sonic Wave, Nuguri will have to burn it straight away. Wait for it. Ward hop, Sonic Wave, straight on in. He flashes and dunks him, though! But doesn't matter. Still gets the kill. The shutdown, however, might be more worth as we fight in the bottom lane. PP God in trouble. Has to flash away the dredge line to re-engage. Aiming in the thick of it as PP God manages to escape. They're turning with Weiwei. Ragnarok hit onto LWX. It's a bounty to claim, and it's a bounty that's not going to come back again. Tien Chris locked down, undertow one more time. Aiming doesn't have the ulti available, but Zika ready to slip through. Ulti itself onto Tien, hits melee range, takes him out, escapes, and flashes. BLG 6-3, the early game all theirs.
It's all gone disastrously for FPX. BLG are coming out of the woodwork and destroying them. Zika getting that first move mid means he can join in that 5 bot lane. FPX have to run for the hills, and we said already, Zika's best champions are these assassins, and he's showing it there. A clean kill and a flash away underneath that tower.
And can we just come back and point out that top lane play for Nuguri, I mean, that's great. He had flash, he straight away flash instant showstopper. Bubu may get the kill, but that added to the bounty, and it all went to Nuguri. So he's back in the game, while the bottom lane just lost themselves out of the game.
And look at the way that this map state is right? You've got the Akali can move in, both top laners are dead, they don't matter. But moving down here, like, Weiwei does more than Tien right now. He said the worst thing that Tien could have is running into Weiwei, and he's just able to chase him down with these axes. Well, that's exactly what happened in that bottom lane play. And you've got Amy who's wailing over the top of you as well. So Zika manages to get a kill, you get a kill going for Weiwei. And now at 8 minutes, this top half of the map is so incredibly buff for BLG, you can't try and go and contest this Rift Herald. Although that being said, you do have push in here for Nuguri in that top lane, a bit of control here for Doomby, but BLG have already rotated.
And it's set. The problem is, it is set. LWX is here first. Good call on this one, Dagda. PP God moving up. Wait for Nuguri, Showstopper, and Showmaker into the fight. FPX in the back of the pit. It begins with Wei ulting in. Ragnarok, three-man play. The smite out early. Chris has to evacuate as Tien is left into the middle of it. Doesn't matter. Zika is finding backline access. Chris isolated. Doomby waiting to Dominus here with Flash. But 5 members of BLG stalk the prey. The max range death sentence. The Herald as well. It goes down, but BLG want the blood. TP onto the back end as Showstopper finally comes through. Nuguri as well, hitting like a truck, waiting for the haymaker. He picks up the Herald. He blasts Zika. Coming so close. The top lane set makes it better than it looked for FPX.
But it's still a mess for FPX. You gave over so many kills in that fight. And yes, you got the Rift Herald, but look at the scoreboard at the top of your screen. 2,500 gold for BLG right now. Those 2 to 3 turrets that you're going to get, you're already training them mid for aiming top for Bubu, and this is so messy. I don't know why FPX tried to come in onto this. Like, Chris already has a flash out of the pit. LWX is out of there as well. Zika is threatening so much on this backline, and yes, Tien has kind of been left to his lonesome in the pit and he can finish off the Rift Herald, but everyone else on FPX is in so much trouble. Nuguri, I have to give him his credit, like, he did the best he could to turn this around, and honestly was a key factor in why at least FPX got some gold back, but it's not going to be enough to change the fact BLG wiped them.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, I was just highlighting the fact of how close it was at the end, but it wasn't close at all. 3-0 Akali, 6-1 Lee Sin. He's got his bounty back. You know, it's a return movie.
Already. It's 10 minutes.
And everyone knows, it's like Shrek, you know? The first one's great. You get that turret dive, you get 3 kills. But the second one was the best in the franchise. And Bubu's now pulled out his second movie. He's starring, showcasing, and 10 CS up even in that top lane with pushing the wave and 2 turret plates. That is a gore drinker earlier than anyone expected. Nuguri may have Blade of the Ruined King, but there's a big chance that Bubu is not going to stop accelerating with a 1,600 lead over Nuguri.
It's absolutely insane. I was going to say, yes, you got your first item there for Nuguri. You got no boots. You've had to, like, you're going to have to actively give up a huge amount of this pressure in that top side as well. And the big thing here is, like, it does become a game of cat and mouse with Bubu and with Nuguri. It's a case of, can Bubu find the right moment in time to get enough burst damage off to kill Nuguri before he haymakers, or avoid that haymaker and then follow up afterwards? And it becomes really difficult for Nuguri to play that game because of, one, the amount of burst that Bubu has, but also it's so hard for Nuguri to now trade against him because of that gore drinker that's there and the ability to heal up every time Nuguri tries to at least trade effectively against this Lee Sin.
And if he goes up against Zika, I mean, Zika will blast him. So you have to look at, like, either side lane is going to be hard for him because Zika may only have the Sork shoes for now, folks, but expect that Mythic coming nice and early. Nuguri holding the Herald, maybe that's some kind of cool retribution here. Does damage into Bubu. Haymaker not going to get the true damage, but now Bubu can follow up. Remember, it's Gore Drink at least in. Sonic Wave doesn't connect, though. Dagda, side note, have you actually seen what he's maxing? There we go. It's a Q max up in the top lane. Just so we were talking about it before and can highlight that. Tempest Cripple going to be maxed next, of course.
Yeah, and again, this is going to be thanks to nerfs, but also to a certain extent because the matchup as well. This lane matchup is more so about trying to get as much trading back and forth as possible against Nuguri. Make sure that he's not able to just heal himself up as well.
All right. Never mind,
okay,
forget
he's
it.
going to back it up.
So, let's just come back a bit because it's double dragon for BLG. They hold the cards in terms of kills, objectives. Nuguri right now going to get blasted.
We're not bringing it back.
No, they're not. I mean, Nuguri's dead. He can't even get up on the showstopper. Cooldown will come through as well. He has TP, but he's not up for another 30 seconds. Bubu running into the turret. And, oh no, Dagda. Herald's going to time out while Nuguri's dead, and Tien is going to die against the wall. Needlework gives him a bit of healing as Weiwei has to flash over the wall. Ignore that because the slowdown and Doomby rolling in matters quite a lot, while in the mid lane, LWX and Chris use everything to try and kill PP God, and aiming. No depth charge, no true shot barrage. They live on. Well, the Herald's soon to spawn, and FPX turn a play on the top side.
I feel sorry for Nuguri. He was like, yeah, I think, you know, BLG, they're going to focus me top lane. And instead it was his team that's given over the top lane advantage. And now he's the one paying for it. However, looking at BLG, they still have these opportunities, right? Aiming is going to be looking to scale later into the game. So the fact that you already have this 4,000 gold lead for BLG is going to buy a pretty cushion for aiming in these next couple of minutes. And as well, Zika, he's going to be looking towards that Riftmaker. He's going to be in a great spot. Yubu, we've already highlighted, is in an insane position. So suddenly that backline dive that we're talking about from FPX isn't looking quite as threatening. Nuguri and Doomby are so far behind that they just won't be able to match the same threat that's coming through from Yubu and Zika.
4,000 gold lead, 14 minutes. I like that you talk about the backline threat. It's like, yeah, the backline threat of Lee Sin Akali definitely going to hurt the Renekton and Set, who are so far behind. FPX is trying to get turrets on these side lanes, while Doomby has to dominus away from Bubu. You know what Bubu used? E. And then a Q. And that was about it. So he'll stay dominant up in this top side, while Weiwei shadows. For FPX, all about this bottom lane turret and getting some gold back. That's something, but still not enough in this game when BLG are dragon stacking, when they have the item advantage easily. And Crisp, you can't make it that obvious, Dagda.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he kind of is. And now you got BLG who take mid, taking top. They take top vision. They get Rift Herald. And your turrets are starting to look a little bit weak now if you're on an FPX side. Yes, you've got Zika, who had to answer for that bot lane push where Nuguri and Tien were able to take the turret, but you're a long way from kind of being in a comfortable position as FPX. Like we talked about the late game condition for BLG being aiming, the late game condition for FPX is Tien. But a jungler who's behind, losing out on his jungle because BLG are stealing it all away, and the fact you have to still get another 2 items under your belt before you're relevant, means it's going to be a pretty difficult time here for FPX to have that late game insurance when their mid game is going so terribly.
I mean, I'm not even going to think about that, Dagda. Against the Jinx and Akali who's dealing with a comp that, sure, will have double bruiser and eventually a tank, but I really don't want to talk about it at this point. It just seems so doomed. You've got Dragon stacking as well. Infernal Soul for an Akali Lee Sin who are ahead is going to be so much worse. Sure, it can flip Taken here. That means Zika is exposed, but they don't have enough damage. They need the Gwen in. Tien with Riftmaker is going to be everything but spotted out. Zika now on the run. He can buy time with the smoke screen. 1 versus 3 into the brush. Jumps through with the perfect execution. Not going to be knocked up by Chris. He's bought the said time and has the other activation. Dredge line, depth charge, but Zika's out. The rest of BLG are coming in. PP God turns to the left and everybody step to the right. FPX now getting blasted with a kick flash from Bubu, who is just reeling in the years here on this pick. Double kill over to aiming. More to come as Doomby has to run for the hills. BLG can do no wrong, say no wrong, and get nothing but success from this game 1.
They get all the kills, they get the bottom lane turret as well, and now they can turn towards this dragon. Yes, the junglers are dead, but who is even going to try and contest this on FPX's side? This game has gone so far out of control for FPX that they are already looking at the next one.
Well, this is a good sign from BLG. IG must have done something to FPX in that last series because they're not looking good, Dagda. That dive top was like everybody jumping into the clown car and trying to get out at once, you know. It was not good whatsoever. And they've been paying for it with each and every play here. As Doomby lucky to get an objective at this point in the game. You mentioned things like the Dragon Soul coming up. Dagda, we have Baron in 2 minutes 30 as well. With a Jinx, they do it fast enough. So there's going to be so many threats on the map for FPX to deal with. And we don't even need to talk about LWX if he can scale in the game, if Tien can do the same. I think at this point, we just talk about how BLG can keep closing it out and destroy FPX's chances of ever winning a fight.
And that's the thing, right? We kind of looked at, like, take Tien out of the equation. FPX have a pretty heavy mid-game spiking team, right? LWX, though, with the Divine Sunder now completed, he is weaker than he was before. Not only dealing 9% of his max health off that Divine Sunder, rather than the 12% that we'd seen previously. Oh, actually, Zumbi might be in trouble here. No, he's just going to be able to back away. But, like, this spike for them is a lot weaker than we would have seen previously. And BLG, with how far ahead they are, like, it's kind of done and dusted. Might even look to crack open the inhibitor turret off.
Doomby's sticking around. He's going to get flayed back, of course. PP God angling for the hook. He finds it. And Doomby's just dead, even in the dominance. No way, Jose. Especially with a 3-1-7 Jinx now running through. Zika baits it out. He's looking stylish this game, Dagda. And so is everyone on BLG. Doomby down for 30 seconds while in the mid lane. Bubu's having it out. He takes hardly any damage here now with the Sterix Gauge. And FPX, they lose themselves an inner turret. They lose themselves an inhibitor turret in one fell swoop.
And I like that BLG didn't take that, right? We've been talking about it a lot where, look, if you end up taking this inhibitor before the 20-minute mark, you end up just giving a bunch of resources over towards FPX without being able to use that extra pressure towards something like the Baron, towards a Dragon or something along these lines. So instead, they leave open the inhibitor. Now you can actually have Bubu look to threaten that towards next Dragon that's up in 3 minutes. You can always have that popped as soon as the Baron comes online, and it becomes so difficult then for FPX to actually deal with it.
Well, we're just going to watch this again. I mean, Doomby just thinks he can slice and dice out, but you're against a Thresh. Like, he counters you. He counters your slice and dice. He flays you back, and that's it. So, what more to say, Dagda, than good stuff from BLG. FPX actually would be... I'd be tilted off the face of the earth.
Oh, Nuggery.
Yeah, he's probably dead.
Nuggery could
Sonic
be dead.
Wave. Bye. Okay, we expect that. Bubu's just gotten a solo kill. You know why it's not super hyped, guys? He's 8-1. He had 3 people dive him at level 3 and level 4. And they gave him...
died.
Yeah, they all died. Baron's up, though, and at 20 minutes, aiming with how much he's doing, they can take this.
And honestly, once Nuggery used that Haymaker, it was all over. That entire matchup revolves around it. And once it's down, you can see Bubu instantly. He's like, cool, now I've got the burst damage that I need. Wait, taking rather low in this pit. It is only 3 people as Zika is sitting off on the side trying to see what he can find.
Look at the flank. He's flashed over as well. They're in so much trouble. Chris about to die too. And LWX getting hit hard by the Lee Sin. The death sentence over the wall. We criticized PP God. We said he's had a rough start to the split, but having a pretty good Thresh game here in game number 1. BLG will move back towards the Baron and do it all again.
Yeah, Thresh has always been one of PP God's best champions, so nice to see him perform it again. But as he said, you know, it gets a bit easier when your team is so far ahead. Now Zika threatened up against Doomby on top side. Always the opportunity here for BLG to try and turn back towards the Baron if they wanted to, but they're just going to take their winnings. You got the Phantom Dancer completed for aiming. He'll be able to start working towards that Infinity Edge as well. He's going to be very quickly getting to the point where he's absolutely nuts. And you can see here, right, a 2-level disadvantage. And Nuggery, as soon as you get that Haymaker popped, it just means that Bubu has the burst damage. And he was only waiting to see if he could try and bait that out before he went for the all-in.
You notice when the dead turrets are there on the replay, we can see beneath Summoner's Rift where like the turret holes are. It's kind of wacky. You ever wonder what's beyond Summoner's Rift?
It's all an illusion. No,
okay.
We don't let them peek behind the curtain.
Oh, there's nothing behind Summoner's Rift. That's right. Sorry. There's no world outside. There's probably families down there, Dagda. Come on, man. Well,
Jesus, that got dark.
Well, it's not dark. It's positive. How's family's dark? Not down there. I mean, that could be a happy place. After you're done, when you go, you sit with your family for 30 seconds. You say, guys, I've just tried to dive a Lee Sin in the top lane. What do I do? They say, don't do that again. And then after you respawn 15 seconds later, you leave your family and you come back onto Summoner's Rift. That's what happens behind the curtain, Dagda, is Infernal Soul.
Just to find it. You know that saying is like, if your friend jumped off a cliff, would you do it? I feel like that's what we witnessed here with FPX. But we're going to get this fight as Soul is now picked up.
They got Infernal Soul. Goodbye. Kick back. Beautiful from Bubu. The game over. Nuggery tries to carry him away. Doomby into the middle of it as well. Wei has to actually flash, but you forget about aiming. He's just in melee range, zapping away. And the rest of BLG succeed. 5-0. And Baron is next.
Baron is going to be melted. You've got the push in top lane. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see if like Zika moves up top, tries to shove in that wave and just collapse it completely on towards that top inhibitor. But give you a run into the mill here as BLG. 11,000 gold lead Inferno Soul, Amy's coming online, Baron going your way. What do you do as FPX?
You just kind of accept it at this point because the game's done. Baron taken, turret gone, 12k gold lead at 23 minutes. BLG making FPX remember the Invictus game in game 1. Because this is what it feels like. It feels like an absolute massacre where FPX can do no right.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
It was sick.
You beauty. That was gorgeous. Getting directly into the backline. Snuggery tries his best, but it's too little too late. And even here, PP God, no matter how low he goes, they refuse to die to FPX.
Well, Dagda, now we're just going to wait for this one to finish because, again, like, you've got an inhibitor turret open top side. You've got inhibitor turrets bottom and mid. Inner still there as well. Baron now picked up. Infernal Soul. These are one of the games where in solo queue, you know, you'd be so tilted. You'd be tilted more so if someone didn't surrender rather than the way it's lost. His box is down. Tien actually caught out in the middle. Good TP flank. PP got it half health as well. TP in the back line though. The Thresh exposed hit. Doombee's running on in. A good pick from FPX, but it's still traded away as Aiming has gotten away. Base breaker even better. FPX getting this close to the fight. That's pretty good. But Zika exists and Bubu is still at full HP. Ace again. 2 down. And now the base to go.
And it's kind of just been a whitewash here. BLG, they're able to get that full control from the early stage. And honestly, I just assumed they're going to walk top here. Yeah, there we go. They'll walk through the... No, walk through the turret and you could just end the game here.
You could. So they're like,
Where's
nah.
Wait, team, go.
What are they doing? Zika's just hitting by himself. Why did we not go through base? The question will remain unknown. LWX and Chris are going to respawn, so the game's not over. And Zika, probably bad that the game didn't end right there. All right, they want it to go on.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I know that BLG's like average game time is not great. They're like the worst team in the league, so maybe they just need to like play to their strengths. You know, they cannot end the game before the 30-minute mark. It's like in their contract.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, give the viewers more time to think about.
You can't time it. You can't check it early. You know, they actually need to clock in to the Rift.
Oh,
they got a little like system set up, so it's like they need to hit their 30 minutes, or else you know they don't. They get
paid by the minute, not paid by the hour. You know, you feel. So they need to really milk that. And BLG, like, we got to get to a 30-minute game. How can we do that? Well, maybe someone could run it down 3 or 4 times, and FPX still wouldn't come back into this game. So you can see. LWX, is he dead? Well, Super Mega Death Rocket puts him to half HP. Zeke is now rolling in. They start on PP God, but Bubu's here. Good playback. Good night to FPX. This game was doomed from the start. Into the wall, doesn't matter. And this one is going home. Except FPX are not the ones taking it.
Now BLG, dominant game 1. A lot of that coming from those early mistakes from FPX. But BLG, they punish well.
32 kills, Zach. The dominant, not the word. This was the difference between God and men. And BLG were the gods in game 1. Well played.
Between the people who live on Summoner's Rift and the people who live below
Summoner's Rift. But that's our family, Dagda. We don't diss on the people that live below Summoner's Rift. Again, when you die on the Rift, you go down there, you have a talk with the family. It's like in a boxing ring.